They're just Miss Dorsey's. There we go.
There you go.
It has lats. That's what I think it is. But it's not. It's actual. I think it's part of his last.
I mean, to be fair, we're really going to tell the story. You guys trust us, all of you, implicitly, because we would never lie to you. And don't worry about the fact that it's his last name. It's really all about what we say. And you guys will believe us because we have trustworthy faces.
He's got enormous lats. He's like a bat.
Yes. Batman.
Latman.
Why not? We are Pixie fans, of course, though. Orianna, yep, the Shyvana dropped away as well. Cassidy and Lee Sin also removed. Remember, Wazabi Gaming did play Kale yesterday, so we talked about that. The S-tier champions expected ban here, unless they really think they can outplay it.
I would expect a Kale ban here because they will first pick it for Baby Zeus, but they just banned the Ziggs, which means they aren't going to first pick their mid laner. They'll most likely pick something that's safe or go for a top lane that's really powerful.
Yeah, well, there you go. They've got kind of both those right here with Lulu. It's a safe mid laner or a great top laner. They're kind of the one you look for if Kale's gone, and that could easily be the case. Kenny hasn't played it a lot recently, but you never know. I mean, top laner's going to learn that champion at some point.
It's not really that big in his champion pool, but at the same time, this may force 2B decided to pick up the Yasuo, because they may go for a Yasuo composition with Baby Zeus playing Lulu, and then Kenny playing Yasuo.
And you think about there's so many synergies available still in the pool as well, right? Tristana, a popular AD carry that Nami actually was going to mention, but that gets stolen away in case Wazabi Gaming wanted it. Of course, Braum's still there, or Thresh if they want other knockup potentials. I mean, this is a real possibility as they hover over champs like this to grab Yasuo on this round. The thing is, Poppers does play the champ, so there's a real risk of it getting stolen out.
It could be stolen away here, and they could synergize it with the Nami, but at the same time, I mean, it's all just theory crafting. Maybe they have a different thing up their sleeve right now, and that's Kenny just being really comfortable on Lulu, and they'll get Baby Zeus something else.
Yeah, we'll see. That's the beauty of picks and bans, and I like contested picks for that reason, because you have these fun games around it. I also love what Yasuo does at champ select, where you're like, hold on, guys, we know they can play Yasuo. When EG played the game against Cursed yesterday, they grabbed Rise blind pick because they're like, they're going to play Yasuo here. Grab Rise for the matchup. And they forced a different pick. And they actually put Rise in a bad matchup, but it blocked the team comp. And that's honestly, like, I don't think enough teams sack a bad lane pick to get a team comp victory. And again, you saw it work for them last time around. Going to look at the Caitlyn and the Evelynn grab now for to be decided. Their mid laner still to be shown.
So right now, to be decided, they just need that mid lane. They know that they might be facing a Lulu, but yeah, okay. The Aurelia is what we saw iKennyU play previously, if he does lock that in for himself. And he did play a lot of that in previous seasons. He's really potent on that champion. He's actually one of the best Aurelias in North America. I mean, if you throw him in EU, he's going to have a lot of people to take that title from.
Sure.
But
Wicked would be the gatekeeper in this case. But we get to see the comps come together in this one. Support picks still to be shown. We have seen support Lulu before, but it looks like not the case. Morgana, nope. Zyra, I'm just going to wait to see.
Wow. Okay.
High damage team once again.
If they go for a Zyra and he doesn't swap to a Yasuo, okay. So there's a lot of possibility and potential here. But instead he's going to go with the Aurelia. He likes that champion. He went 3-2-7 on that with a 5 KDA in the round of 20. What can he do with it this game? They have a lot of peel and disengage for Tristana, so if Latman gets big, and they have a lot of peel for Kenny if he goes in. They have a lot of dive assistance, and pretty much will stop you from getting to the back line while they're diving into your back line. Yeah. So it's kind of a mixture here for this composition of Wasabi.
I feel like their general game composition is they give Kenny a champion he thinks he can win the 1v1 on with the Aurelia, and then says the rest of us can just wave clear and hold and wait for Tristana to come online.
That's the thing. They're going to look for the one-on-one. If Kenny ends up winning that, they'll do a 1-4 split push, and if you try to engage on the 4, it's just nope. You Nami waved, and you tried to get with an Evelynn flank. We're going to go ahead and throw our Stranglethorns here, and then we'll just kill Evelynn in the backline while you can't get through this area.
Sure.
And then try to turn around afterwards.
But here's what TBD grabbed. They grabbed, I think, their best available engage mid laner. And I think actually Syndra's a better engage mid laner than Orianna in this case, because it's a way to get a stun from 1,000 or so range away, get away out of the fight, and just pick somebody off. And of course, right, no black shield. There's no ways to stop that stun from coming out, really. And so TBD can actually force engages reasonably well off of basically a Syndra stun at a tidal wave.
Yeah, and we saw back in at Worlds, where it was people stopped playing Zyra because like Zed's in the meta, all of these middle lane assassins, Ari's in the middle, are just going to keep killing Zyra over and over and over again. Syndra's kind of in that same boat.
Sure, if you find her, she's dead.
Yeah. As soon as you see her out, just complete combo her and she's gone. Extra gold for you, and then you can start snowballing more and more. So I wouldn't be surprised to see visits from Popper's OP down to that bottom lane, which already does need help just on paper based on like solo queue rating.
Oh, gosh.
And the fact that it's a veteran team.
Yeah, but also keep in mind, Kate Nami is like a ludicrously brutal lane.
Oh yeah,
it is freaking tough. And
as there's Tristana early, yes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of axes to think about this on. So one is there's a general rock paper scissors in bot lane around poke versus sustain versus all in. And so you can get a lot of gold by being a Zyra and poking out for a while, but your damage typically won't stick because of the heals available for execution. Meanwhile, they've got ways of poking back because Nami Caitlyn is a really brutal lane, and that's even though solo queue rated is better for Wazabi Gaming, matchup-wise better to be decided.
Definitely.
Which can put you at a point where you get the health lead to make an Evelynn Syndra dive really easy. And it's something to really keep in mind here is that TBD can snowball the lanes based on their champions, and I think it's something to look for here.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to snowball and get ahead in this early game. Actually, Roa was not seen there, but he saw Latman, so he knows there's an advantage here if they start and engage on somebody because they would have to get pinched in from the side.
One Spider down. 5 gold. I could have pressed R.
Didn't want to have that going over. He's going to be able to back earlier when he's like 5 gold away from an item. It's like, yeah, didn't have to wait.
Cool thing is, Wazabi Gaming managed to sneak a ward into the red buff brush from across the wall thanks to Baby Eater. I don't believe that got seen. But already a whole bunch of aggressive wards did come out from To Be Decided. They're going to see the bottom jungle very easily and make their way back to their own blue buff. Wazabi Gaming did get 1 blue and opponent red, and the sweeper removes some more vision.
Yeah. But there's all these wards around here. Despite sweeping that vision out, they are going to know what's going on. But here's the thing. We talked about the Caitlyn Nami lane. Big thing there is Tidecaller's Blessing will apply mid-shot. Caitlyn has such long range that you're going to be making those trades very early on. So they have a combination here of poke alongside the sustain. Yes. Only real caveat here, exception for Wazabi Gaming, is they can kind of stop the sustain a tiny bit with explosive shot, but it's not really that big a deal.
Yeah, it will come into effect occasionally, and yes, it definitely does matter. The real bar to watch there is Execution's mana bar.
Yes.
It is very easy to yourself on Nami. If you take too many bad trades, her healing is not incredibly mana efficient, so it's just how much he's really going to have to spend here in this one. It's something to watch out for. Hack Spinner grabs red buff, blue buff goes over to ROA, and we have standard lanes here. Both guys opting in, sitting dual lanes bottom. Bubble lands, auto attacks come through.
They're just rushing these minions, trying to get level 2 first.
Oh yeah, if you get pushed in against Kate Nami, you lose lane.
So the big thing here in this top lane too, is this is kind of who uses their ability first between Jax and Aurelia. If you use Counter-Strike first, you're going to lose the trade. If you use your He-10 style first, you're going to lose that trade. So,
oh my gosh, double bubble, and there's the attacks coming through. Nicely done by Execution. He's making this lane pretty nice. Level 2 comes in first for bullet safety and co. And look at that. Immediately force them away. Harass comes through, but these minions will get picked up fairly easily.
At the same time, though, ICanEU is pulling some aggro to the top lane from Roa.
I gotta see how available this gank is. Hack's
it's actually pretty available.
Yeah, he's not around right here. KenEU does have dash and stun available. Jax would not get stunned right now. He's gonna land the first little bit onto KenEU. He comes back for this one. Loses his flash for it, but hey, both some time.
Immediately flashes away. Hack's defender is gonna come up here to see if there's a repeat gank. Because once you get a flash like that, you're pretty baited into, I want to revisit this area very soon. Leaving the bottom lane, though, on an island.
Now the Solo King is level 3 right here. His jungler's staying towards the top lane, TBD. They're going to put that trinket down and Tribush. Watch for this one. There is going to be a bit of a fight here. Oh. Here comes Hack Defender. Stun's going to land. Solo King going to take a whole bunch of damage, but here comes ROA. Are they going to chase? Yes, they will. But suddenly an Evelynn shows up. Can't stay in the fight, though. Loses a lot of health. And you know what? Wazabi Gaming got the better of that trade.
Yep. Really big victory there. But at the same time, Solo King, he brought Flask to the lane. So he can be able to sustain himself up just a bit. Hack's Defender actually still sticking around.
Sweeps the Tribush out, makes sure he's still safe. They think they can make this kill happen. Kenny will not get a stun for this one, but slow could be enough. Ooh. Not going to find anything. Cocoon misses. Applies some red buff damage. Why not? Wants to turn the lane ahead. But, I mean, a matchup like this is so heavily dependent on levels and items.
Yeah.
One small lead flips the entire thing.
Yeah. Once Like, if you get that level advantage or that one little bit of combination item gold advantage over your opponent in this matchup, you'll continually cause jungle pressure to be up in that top lane, or you're forced to just sacrifice the lane. Very item dependent, very snowball-y, and Kenny, he doesn't have his flash still, and Roa uses his.
For Roa, stun comes out just in time, but not going to be enough. First blood thanks to the red buff. Goes over to ROA, and look at that, TBD have finally snowballed this top lane.
Yep. Just opened it up a tiny bit there, and the Solo King's going to be able to back. Granted, he did buy Chalice first, or sorry, Flask first. You drink out of both.
True.
So he might just end up with some type of, yeah, he's just going to get the double Dorans on top of it. So he's basically equaled Kenny's aggression in terms of items.
Well, let's see what they can get for this one, because
I guess the point I'm making is Flask gives you no in-combat stats. Gives
True.
You regen.
Yeah, it gives you a bunch of regen. That is worth
trading power.
So we watch that fight again. Kenny really trying to win, but he has no jungler around, with no vision of the jungler.
You can see there he used 10 style first, and the stun came out afterwards, so he was baited into it. Because once you go hit 10, it's basically a signal I'm going aggressive on you. And then the counter-strike can be used for full potential and actually get the stun off. Whereas if you use it beforehand, it just makes somebody run away from you.
And unfortunately, he just ran away and found the gank. Oh, but the root lands on execution. This could be bad. Cocoon will land on a Caitlyn, but they can't convert these ganks into much more than just a bit of damage. So TBD still holding pretty nicely on this, and they just back out. Ooh, in turret range, not good. Baby Zeus burns all his summoners. Chased down by ROA. One more Q will claim it, and that is the second kill now picked up for the jungler. TBD looking good.
Yeah, Roa is doing some really good work for his team right now. Immediately goes to complete the Spirit Stone items so that he can jungle a little better, but it's allowing him to clear and then get to the lanes.
And it's looking really, really good right here. So this is a happy place to be if you're ROA. Single Elim, you want to make yourselves, get yourself to the round of 8, of course. Get that final spot, and so far that's happening. The bot lane holding up. Of course, you'd expect it as Kate Nami to win this matchup. Flatman only within a few minions. The root's going to land as well. Nicely done there by Baby Eater. Bubble's going to hit, though. Q actually doesn't land, and a lot of health gets lost. Execution also very low on mana. I mean, these guys are forced to recall soon for TBD.
Yeah, very aggressive plays coming out there from that bottom lane of Latman and Baby Eater. But at the same time, like, what are you going to be able to do about that is bullet safety and execution. But it was Roa, too. Because Roa's been pulled top. There's a CS advantage still for iKennyU by about 12. You go down to the bottom lane. It's like, where they're getting pushed in now. Tristana, Latman and Baby Eater are actually winning it a little bit.
Yeah, they finally found a way in. That's the thing. Is I said, the thing to watch for is the mana bar of Nami. Because that's the ultimate sort of equalizer there is... You know, Kate and Nami are going to push you in. And the thing about Kate and Nami is they just do damage in short spurts. Like, Nami is very... Basically, there's a lot of small windows where it's like, okay, her spells all have like 10-ish second cooldowns. Bubble lands into some follow-up. But Caitlyn, she just kind of lands 2 autos in a queue, and like that's the extent of her trade.
Yeah.
Like, her follow-up's not all that great until she's level 6. Her overall DPS is not very high because her base attack speed is really low, actually. She's on the very low end for AD carries. So TBD are looking for these short bursts of like, deal some damage. Whenever you last hit, would deal some damage. Wazabi Gaming managed to actually completely survive that round. Push into their turret, whatever, we'll see us in a turret for a while. They didn't take too much free damage at all, and they kept looking for ways in to deal damage. And we're at a state now where bullet safety's at half health, execution's at half health with no mana bar, Latman's full HP, full mana, and Baby Eater's full HP, full mana. And they've weathered that storm and now flipped it. And so execution being means he can't salvage the lane anymore. They're going to have to recall. Problem is, Triss Zyra pushes so well, it's going to actually deny even more CS when they do recall, and suddenly the lane is entirely flipped.
Yeah, and speaking of recalling and all of that, iKennyU is actually back right now. He's given some CS up to the Solo King, but he went to go get himself a little extra items, got himself a Ruby Crystal, so that when he does get back up there, despite giving up that assist and a little bit of pressure, he's right back in it.
Yep. And he's going to keep trying to bully that lane. And then it's really the test of, okay, ROA, you've done good. You actually have the kills now. And guys, we are pausing the game. We'll be back into it as soon as we can be, of course. But ROA, basically, he's been salvaging as many lanes as possible. Turned around the top lane when iKennyU went aggressive at the wrong time. Got the kill on Baby just when he turned aggressive under the turret. But now he's got to salvage the bottom lane as well. Because I don't think this will turn better for TBD's bottom lane unless something happens.
Also, Roa, he has 2 longswords in his inventory, whereas Hax Defender hasn't backed yet. He's backing now for the first time, and Roa doesn't see the pink ward. He's actually spotted by it off on the side. Now, Hax Defender's going to be able to back and give himself some combat stats. Because right there, if Roa had found Hax Defender to one-on-one, it would have been brutal.
Absolutely. I mean,
Hax is also 6. Roa's 6 and Hax Defender's not.
It's okay. He still has his ultimate.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. So at least, yeah, that is kind of the test for these guys. So let's see. ROA definitely looking on his way mid lane.
ROA looking for something now. The jungle rot from Hax Defender is going to be started up here, though. He's going to go for the red.
Baby Zeus is no summoner. This is a very available kill. Stun's going to land. There's the burst coming out. Baby Zeus pops the ulti immediately and says, well, I've seen this story before. Does get out. Nothing major burned by TBD.
Yeah, they didn't use the ultimate from Syndra or the ultimate from Evelynn. So Roa and Poppers, they go ahead and hold on to those.
That's going to hold on, of course, now with them knowing where Evelynn was. Look at that Solo King. Kenny, you going in a bit of a trade right here. Kenny really wanted to just take this fight right there, but Solo King goes back in. The stun, no! He queued in after Counter-Strike was popped. Solo King wins the duel despite being Ruby Crystal down, and that is not good for Wazabi.
Not at all. They're going to be able to get themselves a pink ward here too. But that duel, just going back to it right now, the minion damage, a lot of them were focused onto iKennyU over the Solo King because he was right inside of that minion wave being aggressive and up in his face. Might have been actually having some flash ticks going at the same time.
Oh, sure.
Solo King having the regen may have saved him there.
The thing is, now he's got a Sheen.
Yeah.
So Sheen, Jax. Here's the great thing about Sheen first on Jax, and that's actually really good on Aurelia as well, is basically it provides you so many more sort of ways of fighting. Because both those champions can if they try to fight too often, and so the mana pool helps. But the problem is, or the cool thing is, both of them have such good persistent damage that when you add Sheen Burst, there's no good way to fight against them anymore. Short-term trades, Sheen 80 damage. Yes. Long-term trades, bunch of attack speed, and it's just like your life is pain at all times.
Yeah. You're going to have to back very often. Great thing that iKennyU has teleport, also has the Transcendent Blades, which he only used on the Solo King there. He didn't hit any minions with them. Whereas with that ability, you want to get as much out of it as you possibly can with the regen.
There's no fall-off. You just get more health back.
Yes. Just throw it through them. Throw it through the champion, hopefully, too, to get even more.
Absolutely.
Now, Hax Defender, like we said, if this matchup goes anybody's way, you're going to need jungle attention. Look at that. iKennyU 2 levels down, just levels up now, so it's an entire level down over the Solo King. But because Hax Defender showed top, TBD, they're going to get themselves a dragon.
And look at that. Great play by these guys. Dragon comes down, 1,600 gold lead. Bullet safety and execution. We're winning the lane long enough that once they were forced back, Caitlyn had enough for a BF sword. Nami's level 5. Actually, Kate's level 6 as well now at this point. So even though Latman and Baby Eater finally found themselves a CS lead, the item spikes are pretty comparable. In fact, I would say they're probably in Bullet Safety's favor just because he's already got Sustain, so just more AD here. And they've even got the ability for Evelynn at any time to turn things around, so those aggressive Tristana plays, heavily risky.
Yeah, he's actually going to get flanked here by Roa, but Hax Defender is also here. They're acing the hole for the distraction. There's the TP coming in.
Comes in. Eve ulti will hit on the 2. Now, can they chase on this one? Good flash to get away for this one. No tidal wave available. And so it's going to be everyone backing out on this
TP'd in too.
He's going to look for Solo King. There lands a slow flash, forced away by Jax. Jumps to
gets
ward.
two
ROA definitely not in the right spot there. Forced to flash himself out, but takes an exhaust for it.
Poppers is trying to come down too. All 5 members of TBD were on this side, and they left Baby Zeus in the mid lane to continue farming and pushing. But man, that's a lot of aggression. The TP plays coming out there from both top laners, getting nothing for it.
True, they just kind of made everyone else turn around. A couple of flashes lost back and forth, but nothing otherwise picked up. The mid lane, though, I do want to point out, because Baby Zeus, despite getting ganked early on, getting killed by Roa, he's up 24 minions in the matchup. It basically heads up one-on-one. He's had almost no help at all from Hax Defender. And I got to commend a really good performance there.
Kenny, he had to head extremely quickly up top to get this minion wave, because he's down an entire Sheen at this point. He's down an entire Sheen in terms of buying and item power.
Yep.
He has boots, just a tiny bit of a...
Boots burst flash, but down a Sheen.
Yeah, that's...
I'd rather be Jax in this case.
Yes, there we go. There, raise your hand if you'd like to be Jax.
Me.
Oh.
Pick me.
Congratulations, this is you, freak.
Yes, I'm Jax in this case. Great. Never keep him down.
Poor Aurelia. But Kenny, if anybody can come out of a situation like this, it's him. But Hax Defender, the newest guy on the team alongside him, they have to synergize well to make this happen. And at the same time, when we saw Hax Defender visit top, Roa took complete advantage of that and got his team a dragon. So Roa's movements across this map have been phenomenal.
Absolutely, man. I got to commend Roa for some good plays in this one. Looking for another fight right here. Just Soul King really wants Kenny to fight him, and Kenny says, I've seen this one before.
Yeah, well,
I lose when I fight you.
Look at that. Said the poke trade, and the sustain fight trade already goes in favor of the Solo King now. So this is going to cause Hax Defender to come up top, but Evelyn is already there sitting around. Roa is ready for this.
All right, well, let's see what they can get. Kenny's got to be waiting around. Hax Defender is nearby. Kenny goes in for a CS. The stun's going, ooh, good flash. Stun's not going to land. But hey, he lost a flash to reveal where Eve was.
Yeah, and Hax Defender is there as well. So he's going to start defending this down bottom, though. Still trading.
But I like how the CS lead is actually growing farther and farther. Latman and Baby Eater are extremely, extremely strong, and you're seeing them kind of push their weight around. They're up 30 CS now against Caitlyn. That is ludicrous. I actually thought when the recalls came in, the item lead went for Caitlyn, but they just don't get the harass down that they need. Latman and Baby Eater just pushing under the turret, not missing any CS. You can see the harass coming through, dodges the Caitlyn Qs. Like, this is perfect play.
Yeah, Sleeper OP here in this bottom lane. See Baby Eater on the Zyra. Ready to poke down, get rid of all of that mana, which you said was the bar to watch. So execution, it's very low already.
Yeah, and you think about it, execution rushed for the Sight Stone, which of course I understand Sight Stone's great, but it means that the mana regen is actually less than what Baby Eater has by going for Frostwing here.
Well, he also went for Boots on Baby Eater's side. So he's looking to close the distance, get more harassment out.
Dodge bubbles.
Yeah, dodge the bubbles, also just get closer and make it so that you can land your abilities.
Yeah, absolutely true. The movement speed actually does have a pretty big impact in terms of your ability to harass in a lane sometimes, and so it is something that these guys have. And again, Sightstone doesn't help very much against an Evelyn on the enemy team, so there's no real rush in investing in that right away. So I do like these choices here. 40 minion difference in the bot lane. I think that actually number is growing right here.
A big part of it as well is some of the CS that Bullet Safety has might even just be plants. Might just be killing some plants off. So Latman might even be further ahead than he appears.
He's certainly ahead at this point. Ruin King is available to be completed at this point. You can see a 500 gold lead across this. Bullet Safety about 400 away from Infinity Edge. The sooner Latman can go get the recall, the sooner he can spike farther ahead in items, something I think that is worth having. I won't go for that just yet here. Dragon in 1 minute, though. That's actually probably when you time your recalls. Yeah. And that will mean Ruin King before Infinity Edge for the next Dragon fight.
They baited Baby Zeus into this.
Stuns, spells coming down. Evolt still not used, though, for Roa. It wouldn't have meant the kill necessarily, but Hax Defender going way too aggressive on that one. Roa's ulti doesn't do much. Hax Defender, though, he is going to go down. Really chose the wrong fight here. Now 4-0 TBD.
Big thing about this is that the double buffs went over to Syndra, and he's going to have them available for the Dragon fight.
Oh man, that is going to be scary. Maybe not so much the ulti of Syndra, but who cares when you've got pretty much infinite Q spam off Athene's and blue buff. That is very big.
It'll be very close to being up by the time they get to the Dragon and fight it. They're timing their backs off of this too, and the Solo King and Kenny will have their teleports.
Yes, they are, but the problem is Kenny is just not going to be nearly as useful. Just now hits level 10, about to lose his turret as well. He's one hit away from that going down. Solo King could claim that recall and show up if he wants to play it just right. Kenny is holding up right now. That has his own Sheen. He's not really down too far in items. You can see him starting to push around. Solo King level 11, but they do want to keep fighting.
Yeah, the Solo King actually took a bunch of tower shots previously. Got equilibrium struck under that. And then Kenny just regen. Now he's going to back off. He could show up to this fight if he wanted to, but teleports are not going to come through. There's no vision for Wazabi Gaming just yet.
No chance for them to fight for this. Now 2,000 gold puts to be decided up in this game. They're making good choice after good choice. Only problem is they're getting outlaned. IKennyU, despite dying twice in lane, and to be fair, that does mean a whole heck of a lot, actually up in CS anyway over Solo King. Baby Zeus up 40 over Poppers. Latman also up 40 over his opposition. It's weird that Wazabi Gaming is losing in gold, and it feels like they're not doing anything, but by sitting in lanes, they're actually clawing back in.
Yeah, the fact that they have these CS advantages will allow them to just play the laning phase better and transition into the late game. Because they're playing the laning phase better. There we go.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, they've got good late game champs too. I don't think they can really be too afraid of who outscales whom.
And you wouldn't be disappointed in just sitting in the laning phase forever with a Tristana or an Aurelia.
Yeah, sure. They'll be happy. Turret does go down. No local gold goes over to TBD, but they still get the 500 global.
He also gets a freeze, too. if he wants it.
Yeah, there's not exactly much up for Wazabi Gaming to take necessarily. They're getting everything kind of by themselves in the 1v1 matchups there. Turret kills and whatnot. Dragon, of course, dead as well. TBD, though, they do have great siege. They've got Syndra poke, they've got Nami sustain, and Caitlyn siege. They're also very close to Infinity Edge there on the Kate, so I want to see if they can get themselves in on something soon.
And Blade of the Rune King for Tristana, Latman. And finally comes back for it. It's where they fought previously. Now Roa in that bush being very sneaky. Hack Defender actually sees him cut the wards in there.
Cocoon misses though, and Roa is on the chase. Half HP, nice repel. Get away from the stun. There's Teleport coming in. The Hack Defender is going to get hit up pretty hard. The kill, gonna finally come in. Solo King, go ahead and claim that one. Why the heck not? But that's going to be mid lane pressure now.
Out of all the people that showed up to that fight, I think Jax is the one you want that kill on.
Yes,
we'll go back to dueling IKenyu in the top lane with that little bit of gold advantage in his pocket.
And interestingly, he went for Ninja Tabby here, even though it's not massive against Aurelia. It does help somewhat, but this mid lane turret now
the Tristana late game too is something worried about.
Absolutely. There's going to be a mid lane turret going down now, and that is the local gold given away. So to be decided, up 2 dragons to 0, up 2 turrets to 0, and up 5 kills to 0.
They're just going for the outer turrets now at this point.
Oh, sure.
They got the top turret, and now they're trying to spill it over into the other lanes. Now we see both the mid laner and the top laner coming down to the bottom here for TBD.
They don't quite force it just yet, though. They might actually, looks like they're going to back their AD carry for the Infinity Edge. Their support is going for a very early Mikhail's Crucible here, just off the tier 1 GP10. Wants to be able to keep them safe from the roots, the cocoons, all that kind of fun stuff. That's all kinds of fine. Next item spike's coming through. Trinity Force done, 18 to 19 minutes in for the Solo King. Not a bad clip for that one, but the same here for IKenyu. So you're seeing these guys hold parity in a lot of the matchups just from farm.
Yeah, Kenny has that little bit of an advantage with the 2 kills and the assist for the Solo King. And the fact that they got Dragon Gold on top of it is allowing him to finish his boots and have a long sword up at this point. So he's going to go, looks like 2 offensive items. Michael Blade of the Rune King second, as opposed to the Jax we saw in the previous game. Going defensive after first Trinity, but yeah, blue buff for Poppers.
Okay, 19-minute blue buff there on that one. Looks like blue buff respawning as well for Wazabi Gaming. And the real question is, a lot of these teams are very new, of course, and shot calling is really hard, by the way. If you guys look at home, you're like, oh man, these rotations, they're so easy, I can do that. It's like, yeah, I mean, well, shot calling is hard, and for both these teams, of course, right? Wazabi Gaming lost Nintendude, or not Nintendude, sorry, Niantanso. I saw the N on my sheet and was like, that's who I meant to say. No. And Nintendude's team actually lost earlier today. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing him in round of 8. But also, TBD, right? None of these guys are really, really big Challenger Scene veterans, right? None of them are the big tournament winners we used to see. You know, guys like Teammate or even Elements from AoE, where you know they've got all the experience. And
Latman.
Face checks a Syndra. That's not going to be good for him. Baby Eater also going to take down rather quickly. 2 kills picked up. Well, TBD, despite maybe some less experienced others, still make a good place.
Yeah, so when you want to go kill the golems, and you get 2 other things besides the golems in those bushes, you have some problems.
Yep.
So ends up checking it, ends up costing both the bottom laner's life and the turret. Right now, they're looking for a perfect game here from TBD. They haven't lost a turret. They haven't given up a kill.
This is looking really good for that team. Yeah, and they're playing it controlled, and it's really impressive, honestly, how well they're doing, because I looked at this, and on paper, there's so many individual matchups that looked like almost free wins for Wazabi Gaming. And to be honest, you're seeing in the minion scores that's actually true. Right, again, Tristana still up 40, the Aurelia still up 16, the mid laner up 55 now in the one-on-one. Like, all those, I'm like, yeah, that's what I expected to see from this game. The thing is, both ROA, the jungle Evelynn, and the overall play calling from To Be Decided are putting them in a good spot. They're taking dragons, they're not getting contested, they're getting ganks off, pushing the lanes into a good enough favor that you can't react to them. And the point I was trying to make earlier, and I was kind of warming up to, because I thought we had more downtime, then suddenly someone died.
We do have downtime now.
We do now have downtime. We have a pause. We'll be back to that in a little bit. Shot calling is really hard.
Yes.
It's really, really hard because you're keeping track of your own lane while watching only one side of the map, because you can't see the enemy champions, of course, easily. And you're like, okay, we think that we can get to bot lane before anything else gets hit, and you make all these choices with imperfect information. And it can oftentimes make teams very slow, where they're like, we'll just keep laning, something will happen, and then I'll, like, react. Proper shot calling is not reactive. It's proactive. It's saying, based on what I know about them and our item timings and whatever else you want to use, if we show 5 bot, we'll get there first.
Also
we'll
jungle routes too.
Oh, sure.
That's a big part of it, is if you know somebody's play style, you know where they started, you know the timers, you see like a little advantage. Oh, he backed middle, etc. Just knowing what to do with all those types of things. So another thing here that I want to touch on is the teamwork, because we talked about the CS advantage in all the lanes for Wazabi Gaming. The teamwork for TBD is definitely better at this point in the game that we're seeing. The shot calling is good. Roa's making the right ganks at the right times. He's basically reading where Hack's defender is going to be, and they focused on that top lane, and then they freed up the solo king to just kind of basically be like, all right, hit mid, mid's ours now. Hit bottom, bottom's ours now. And they just kept doing this type of rotational strategy in game that basically makes Wazabi Gaming look like a solo queue team right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of the difficulty, is they replace their shot caller, and that kind of stuff is happening to these guys. And it's just so impressive that TBD's been able to do this so far. So they've been pushing up now to the tier 2 turrets, 20.5 minutes in. That's a good clip for them. Their first items coming through, and they're using them to make a lot of plays. And so far, these guys look pretty happy. Of course, if they win, you go on to the round of 8, you score some points. If you go any farther, you're likely to qualify for the postseason. Okay, so rotation's been learned, right? Guys making good choices. I'm trying to think, what do we talk about for this one now? Actually, we are getting ourselves into the game very soon, so thankfully, don't have to fill for much longer. We got guys in our headsets telling us that the game's back afoot soon. And Wazabi, basically, they're poised now to control the game from start to finish. You mentioned the perfect game possibility. It's never too early to suggest it, I think.
Well, as long as it's still in the 0 category and nobody has any turrets or anything, then it's still pretty good.
0 seconds in.
I
think you can
looking for a perfect game today.
Hey, that's a cool way to go for it. You know, shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Still okay.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see what they end up getting done here. Can they actually do it? Because Kenny, he's pushing top lane. There's no TP. They might just get rewarded with a turret in the top.
I
called it too soon.
Yep. I said it was never too early. I was trolling you. You mentioned earlier how many teams were trolling us each game. Even Elements did it by picking Trundle. So
wow.
I remember that one from Champ Select, and it just came back to me here. So it felt like throwing that pun in there, even though it's not topical anymore. Stun not going to land on a baby Zeus, but we are back into this one. Let's go. 4,000 gold puts TBD ahead, up 2 dragons, up 3 turrets, up 7 kills. They're more up than a Disney movie.
Yeah. Wow. Beginning of that movie, so sad. Squirrel. Okay, so into the game. We do see, though, the CS advantage here for everybody across IKennyU to the point where he has a red pot in his inventory because he wants to be able to fight this next dragon. He wants to be able to be a contest here. There's no teleport on the solo king, and it won't be up in time for dragon. He's going to have to walk there. He's backing right now to try and show up, and Wazabi, this is their way back into the game. 7-0 in kills for TBD. 4-1 in turrets. You need to pick this one up for yourself. So they're getting the control. The question is, can they do it or actually kill somebody from TBD before it starts?
Well, here's the test. Wazabi are trying really hard to gain this one. Dragon is live. They've got 1 million wards down in the vicinity, and they are
going for it.
Up. This is the thing that Wazabi needs to get back in, and TBD do not want to let them have it. They are here to flank. Brass comes down, 5-man ulti in, and there comes the tidal wave. Not going to land on anything. Kate ulti comes by as well. The Solo King goes down, 1 for 0. The fight continues. Latman stays alive against Popper's OP, and Kenny is now into the back line. Can he find much? He goes down. It looks like not. Root won't hit either. Stun onto 3, though, but there comes Latman.
Go for it.
Finds the kill.
Gets the jump.
Now on towards Roa. Gets away from this one, but here comes Caitlyn. Bullet safety trying to find the kills. Can't quite do it. ROA will go down. Looks like 3-1 overall this fight.
A team fight prowess of Wazabi Gaming coming up huge there. And they don't get the dragon, but they get some kills to get themselves back into it, and now they're turning back onto it because they have their smite, and TBD's is down.
Well, their health bars are incredibly low, but looks like Bullet Safety and Execution want to try to stop them here.
Latman's also on the side. He has Blade of the Ruined King, so he has some regen, but there's the TP from Solo.
Gosh,
Kenny has his too, though.
And Hack's Defender does not want to stay for this one. Kenny Q pops the E.
Oh, God, he's going to try to burst it.
Why even? No! You let him get it with the smite. They get the kill, but Dragon still goes to Wazabi Gaming, making it +1 kill, +1 Dragon.
And now only a 2K gold difference between these teams. Solo King doesn't get anything.
Nope.
He's looking for though.
King of an empty jungle.
And there's the jump.
Latman
but he has the
does have
move
ulti.
speed. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it was up in like 1 second. It was enough to keep him safe. And
wow.
Looking doesn't chase. So Wazabi Gaming, 2.2K down. They found their way back in.
This is beautiful, though. The Solo King goes in after this massive 5-man slow, but then they get sectioned off from the Zyra ultimate, and they kite backwards, and the Solo King dies before anything else happens. Latman survives off of a heal there, and Kenny, he's just applying the slow from the Lulu Wild Growth onto key members, trying to get the poppers. The great 3-man stun across them. The reset, explosive shot, auto, jump back out over a bubble to get yourself out of the fight for Latman there. End up getting Roa on the backside, but Bullet Safety doesn't have the amount to continue. And look at that, back into a fight.
Oh my gosh, they're going to go for poppers. He's going to go down now. Roa gets locked up. Plants are there. Baby Eater putting some damage down. And they find another 1 for 0. I got to put on the last fight, though, that was really poorly played by Bullet Safety. Yes. You get about 10 seconds of walking backwards against stunned targets. You saw how low Wazabi's health bars were. That fight was winnable by Caitlyn, having a little bit higher uptime.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of mana available.
Who cares?
And he got zoned off by the Stranglethorn, but then that kind of made him think they were disengaging the fight. He just wasn't doing any damage.
Yep.
Your effective DPS when you're doing nothing, 0.
True.
If you're at least auto-attacking, you're getting some applied. A lot of members got stunned there. We saw the stun from Poppers across 3 people, and it was really big. The team played those ultimates very well from Roa and Poppers, but just the capitalization was not there.
All right, so far Wazabi Gaming finding their way back in, 1,300 gold down. I mean, these guys are, to be honest, pretty heavy favorites. They're the 3rd seed coming in. To be decided, to be fair, 8th seed, so not like they're chumps themselves, but I think Wazabi Gaming expected to do very well in this game. And again, the laning phases show that they've got the individual skill to pull it out. And those leads keep on coming. 16 minion lead top lane. Blue goes back to Poppers. And now, all right, TBD, you've shot called from ahead all game. You've found great plays. Roa's done a phenomenal 4-1-3 this game. He's been awesome. You said, okay, our lanes are losing. We'll try to have to make plays as the team. But you just lost your first team fight. You got to recollect yourselves, realize you're still up in gold, and make the right plays.
Kenny is going for a defensive item second, which means he's looking to join the team fights. If he was going for a damage item second, it means that he's going to try to duel the Solo King straight up and beat him. Granted, it looks like it's going to be possibly Randuin, so he's looking for the attack speed slow, but he's looking to get in these fights. This is the big thing for Aurelia.
Yeah.
Don't think he's going to go with the split push strategy, but we saw there the disengage from the comp that we talked about, the soft disengage from Lulu with Glitter Lance. You also have a stun from Elise, and then you have just the Stranglethorn zoning. And it happened there. I thought it was going to be Evelynn from a flank when we were talking about a Champions League. It was actually Jax jumping in, and then Stranglethorn in the back, and nobody can go through that area. So the perfect kite backwards is what won Wazabi gave me the Dragon, and making them only about 1.2k gold behind.
And so far, they've looked pretty good for themselves. So they can keep drawing this game out. They know the laning phase just tends to go their way, and you know, reacting to Dragon fight worked out okay. Solo King now very aggressive here. No teammates around. Puts the stun up. Jumps to a ward. Cocoon won't land, and he does get out. But next time that happens, Trinket Ward won't be up.
Gets himself a Blade of the Ruined King movement speed increase there to get himself out.
We'll see. Infinity Edge came through here for Latman. He's actually a small item lead above Bullet Safety until the Phantom Dancer gets done. Okay, never mind. Flip back over.
Woo.
ED is completed.
He does have a lot more gold than him, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just sitting there. Has about 1.5k more.
Yeah, so he can start on the Last Whisper, or he could go towards Ruined King next. Not Ruined King. He's already got one. You can actually go Phantom Dancer next, and that would actually be pretty okay for Tristana here. I expect not a Triforce. There'd be no reason to.
And now they're looking for this bottom lane turret to get their second one of the game. And since that pause, Wazabi Gaming is just pretty much taken off. Getting a turret, getting 4 kills for themselves. Ooh, get the flash out of Baby. Not. Yeah, Baby Eater. Baby Eater. There's 2 babies.
It's okay. You start with one of them. Just speak slowly enough that you can check.
Getting it out of Baby
Eater.
Eater. There we go. Yeah.
Still going to be okay.
Turret down bottom drops.
Down to only 800 now because of that. Really, really back to a close game. Their TBD's early game advantage from their jungle plays has fallen off now. And certainly Wazabi are back in this from their mechanical skill largely, and some good team fighting. Looks like to be decided want to hold control over Baron. It's not a game Wazabi's really playing. They're not falling for anything here.
Dragon in 45. So that'll be up shortly. Latman goes for the Zeal for the multiplication on the IE, for the crit and the attack speed. And now what are they going to do about the Solo King, who's a level up on iKenny, has a second offensive item.
Comes out decent damage.
Yeah, just going back and forth now. Not a wet noodle fight, though. They hit each other pretty dang hard.
Yep, no tank items at all on Jax.
It's like a pillow, but with a couple rocks thrown in there.
Oof.
Yeah,
like
they're fighting dirty.
Bars of soap inside of it.
Ooh. Yeah, they're fighting dirty.
Yep. They see me roll. No. Jax is fighting dirty.
Okay.
Wazabi Gaming chilling in the bot lane. iKenny is just trying to hold on to this 1v1. Like, and you know, he picked for it in the very beginning. We saw that in Champ Select. They saw the Jax come through first. They first picked Lulu, waited to see where it would go, and said, okay, let's go Aurelia top, Lulu mid. Set that one up. Baby Zeus won his lane, despite ultimately blind picking his champion. iKenny got the counter, well, the counter pick he wanted, at least the response pick he wanted.
Okay.
Doing well in the fights.
So the Dragon was where TBD ended up losing their huge advantage. Defender going to go for this? No, he's not. And they end up getting the Dragon very cleanly because they set up for it before Wazabi did this time.
Yeah.
Whereas last time Wazabi had all the ward control and baited TBD into them. Now it's back to about a 2k gold advantage for TBD.
Well, the thing is, Wazabi spent that time actually setting up Baron. You notice that we just saw Baby Eater come back from the northwest river there with a whole big scouting of wards. It looks like they really want that side.
There's a ward in the back of the Baron, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just run for this.
They have a pink. They'll place it down. See what they can do. At the same time, though, the Solo King is pushing the bottom lane. They're actually doing the Baron, though.
These guys are not checking very quickly. They cue the brush. No one's there just yet.
See Roa, though.
Stun comes out. This Baron, though, very low health, down to 1/3. And, of course, Smite is up for Roa, though. Here comes the tidal wave. They peel off of Baron. It's going to be Evelyn pushed backwards. It keeps running away, but there comes Jax. He kills off Baby Eater. The fight has begun, and here comes the re-engage. But no, it's more like the retreat now for both sides. Wazabi Gaming kited back just well enough. One kill picked up. Execution very low. The jump on in. Kill claim.
Oh, he got a
reset. Knockback from Poppers stopping Kenny.
The reset, too, on the jump for Latman after the assist. And they end up not getting it. Now, Roa, though.
Wow, they're still trying. Baby Zeus losing a lot of health. Blocked up by Kenny here.
This is why he went tanky. Be in these fights like this.
Low on health. Roa,
no flash.
He cannot smite this from where he stands. This Baron, unless they miss smite it horribly, is going to go to Wazabi Gaming. And they're not even going to try to stop it. Look at that. They start a fight, go 1 for 1, and then go right back and claim this. TBD can only push mid for this.
Yeah, they ended up getting so much damage dealt to multiple members of TBD that they couldn't contest it anymore, especially since the jungler was so low, and they just brute forced that Baron down. They're still down about 1.4k gold, but now they have those temporary combat stats that they want to duel people, and a lot of that was because Kenny was so tanky. Just that one item on top of the fact he gets a lot of tenacity, you can't stop him from getting into your backline, and then Baby Zeus giving him the wild growth. Very hard to take down Kenny, and he soaks a lot of your damage, whereas if you looked at what the Solo King had, no real tank items.
Yeah, it's true, and you saw how risky it was going to be around there, and a lot of this, I hate to say it, but it's true, it's TBD's rough late laning phase.
Yeah.
Bullet Safety has like 80 less minions than he should right now. Like, he should have had Last Whisper for that fight and used that to kill Aurelia. Like, ultimately, the lack of items that are there from, I mean, partially really good play by Latman and Baby Eater, but partially the fact that Bullet Safety and Execution shouldn't have given up lane control has kind of allowed Kenny to be tankier than he's supposed to be. And now he's actually going for a Ruin King third because there's
build order.
Not that much threat.
He's completely okay with that. That's going to be really good. He won't buy a defensive magic item until later. He's completely fine just getting stunned by Aurelia. He has the tenacity. Or sorry, getting stunned by Syndra. Has the tenacity, and he also has his passive. So it's not going to last that long on him at all, and he'll just be back in the fight auto-attacking.
Something to be concerned about then for sure with these guys, because Kenny Yu is level 16, and we haven't really seen, like, even though scores 1, 3, and 2, he started 0-2-0. He's really like 1-1 and 2 since then, making a lot of good plays. So looking about to get collapsed on. The whole team is down here for this right-hand side tier 2 turret.
Well, another big thing is it's a 4-1-1 Jax, and we haven't really seen that impact that a Jax has.
Yep. Goes into the fights, but he gets hit too quickly.
He gets disengaged from.
Yep.
There's just a lot of soft disengage that still allows the fight to happen. Like a hard disengage is like, oh, a barrel gets thrown out and you're out of there. You're gone. This is soft disengage where you will slow them by a ton with Lulu. You'll stun them, keep them there. You'll go ahead and use the knock-up, create a zone of control with the Zyra or root them. That really shuts down Jax a lot.
And he's finally getting some tank items though. Cowl, the Warden's Mail as well, so I think we're finally at the point where Jax can actually get into the fight and not be brushed away so easily, and that is actually a pretty important point for these guys, is getting themselves in this sort of situation. So Solo King will continue to scale up. A 4-1-1 Jax is a scary threat as long as he can play it right. And again, he's a challenger solo queue player. We know he's good. We know he can play around these fights. It's just applying them to the team fights here in coordinated competitive play can sometimes be very different. Wazabi Gaming trying to go back and forth between the mid lane and that right-hand side. Looking for ways in on a tier 2 turret. This might be their first break here. Miniwave cleared away. Kate Nami around Syndra. Gonna stay safe, take some plant damage.
Yeah, but 200 gold between these teams now, but there's still that Baron ticking on Wazabi. And both these teams actually do have a lot of soft disengage themselves. You have the Nami, you have the Syndra, but it's been TBD that's going in all the time because they had the advantage previously, and they've just been kind of flubbing it. They aren't getting the fights that they want. Dragon up in a minute, and that's going to be the Dragon that gives somebody a gold lead for the first time, or tries to get TBD back to having a larger gold lead.
Solo King Kenny in a battle right here. Solo King with his dodge down has to be a bit careful. And this one pops his ulti as well, and Kenny is safe.
Still going for
buff ending soon because
Baby's
Lulu is coming in. This is not good for the Solo King. Burns his flash, but here comes the Lulu. Q's gonna land. That's a kill picked up. Ikenny's gonna have that, and Jax is dead for the Dragon.
It's a really, really fast Lulu coming in there, and they're just poking down this mid turret, but they're getting engaged on now.
Bro only ults one champion. They go in for Baby Eater, gets knocked up into the air. The stun comes out, and Syndra finds it, but there comes Kenny, and Roa's got to be real careful. He does get out with the kills. Kenny does go down. Nicely done by Bullet Safety. Now Poppers, though, too far up, gets picked up by Tristana, and Latman can easily claim tier 2 turret.
It's a 2 for 2 in the overall, and they get themselves a turret for Wazabi Gaming.
And they can keep going, though, is the thing. I feel like they just are more powerful. We have ROA still healing, and now Bullet Safety's got to be real careful. The jump in. Latman, one more hit. The heals keep coming out, and he can't quite claim it. Nearly enough damage. Roa forced away as well, but this means for sure there's an hit turret.
Just the aggression there from Wazabi Gaming is going to reward them with another turret, and they're going to go for the inhibitor as well. Just great play right now, despite being down in the early game by a lot.
Now they got to run away, though. They got to be pretty careful because the respawns did come out, but they do get their way out. So yes, as you mentioned, Wazabi Gaming really pulling their way back in off of being down 4 turrets, 7 kills, and 2 dragons. Still finding ways to win team fights. And they've now really spiked back up. The items are here. Roa, got to be a bit careful, but it's okay.
The sweeper comes down, trying to clear the wards out. Dragon is up, and everybody is here except for Kenny. He doesn't have TP. Poppers as well. He's on his way.
And he's going to hightail it up as fast as he can. Poppers on the way down, but Dragon losing health rapidly. Looks like that's not going to be contested, so TBD get themselves back to parity. 58.7k on both sides. And I don't think either team has the necessarily better late game comp, so it's just about how they play the fights. The problem is Wazabi's been playing them much better recently.
Now it's back to this duel in the bottom lane. He's going to try to test his luck. Trade a little bit back and forth. The thing about Aurelia, she has so many comeback mechanics in her kit. It's all about equilibrium striking you when you pass her in HP and then using her abilities to get back to more HP than you had. And then keep the person down.
And to be honest, he's doing a really good job of that one. Kenny has been holding up in the matchup. These guys both, they're sort of the main divers there. They take up a lot of damage in the team fights. They're dying pretty frequently, but that's kind of their job here. The split pushes the 1v1 still entertaining. 300 plus minions of both these guys. You can see 13, almost 14,000 gold on both as well. But the big disparity there is just that 80 carry. 14 to 12,000 gold is just a very large difference with the rest of the game. Holds pretty equal.
Yeah, it's that and the junglers, but the jungler gold actually doesn't mean as much as 80 carry gold.
Yeah.
When you get a lot of kills on an Evelynn, it's like, okay, now I got my Banshee's Veil a little sooner, or my Randuin's a little sooner. It's not like you're going to have this more damage to bring into it. And she doesn't really have tankiness amplification in her kit. She has the shield off the ultimate, but that's about it. And now, it's with this extra little from the AD carry, this Baron's going to go down even faster.
Wow, just enough ward control, and TBD barely know about it. Baron picked up nicely there by Wazabi Gaming. Solo King just splitting at level 18, but to be honest, TBD is starting to get really heavily outplayed around the map.
Yeah, the map movements from Wazabi Gaming, since the pause is pretty much just them, look like regrouping to get back into this. And now they're doing a fantastic job. Having big zeros in both the turret and the kills department. Now they're up to 7 in kills, and they're equal in turrets to TBD, who was having such a great early game in terms of tactics and just straight up dueling.
Well, we're going to see more of these duels, though. Solo King really wants his way in, but Kenny happy to fight back, and there we go. Both of them committing to the battle. Solo King, though, trying to lifesteal back up. It's going to be close. Another Equilibrium Strike used. Solo King forced to run away. The dash on in. Couple more attacks to go. The dodge comes in. Kenny has to flash out. One more Q. Claim the kill. And there we go. We're seeing these duels consistently now go the way of Wazabi Gaming.
Yeah, and the fact that there was some magic resistance purchased for the Solo King doesn't do anything for him against iKennyU.
Not a thing. So it's not a happy place then if you're the Solo King here, because you picked Jax to beat that awesome #1 split pusher, take the 1v1 fights, beat up any top laner, create pressure for your team, and suddenly that doesn't exist anymore. Kenny is back to full health.
He plays it well too.
Yeah.
Kenny plays that phenomenally well.
Right. I mean, he's definitely winning the battles, right? And you're seeing this here. He's now the one creating pressure. Bottom lane definitely going to go down. Now you're seeing Tristana come to join the fight just to make sure. Quick claim on that one. Mid inhibitor already dead. Top lane already being pressured. Bot lane, though, about to be shot up as well.
Now the base, the inhibitor back up. Baby Eater's already on it. Look at that. Latman just using that extra damage he had from that advantage as the AD carry allows him to kill things much faster. They're looking for him in the back, though. He's going to get knocked up and burst down.
Latman is gone, and Kenny using the wrong side of the fight gets slowed up as well. Big burst coming through, and that is 2 kills picked up for TBD, and suddenly Wazabi bit off way more than they can chew. Roa still in the chase, slows down Baby Eater, chases him when he can. Zyra ulti is going to get a couple of them knocked up, which will let them back out, but TBD just found more signs of life.
Yeah, interrupted the Caitlyn ultimate, so the extra damage didn't come through. Big thing there, they get a turret for 2 kills though, but it's 40-second death timers, so TBD can push up the middle, possibly reward themselves with a turret if they play aggressive, or they could wrestle themselves some Baron control with 3-minute wards, see what they can do here off of that, because they're basically just gifted those two.
No,
Picked it up.
It's definitely too early for Baron right here. Their Baron ref is still on Wazabi Gaming, so those wards would all time out. Instead, they do look at the mid lane. 25 seconds on the Irelia. That's fine.
I was duped by the dragon timer.
I know. The dragon is coming up. They could go for that one on the end of this one, but mid inhibitor is going to go down 10 seconds on Tristana. They're going to go for the inhibitor itself. Baby Eater stunned up. They go for the burst combo. Ulti comes in, and down goes the support. They've knocked up Hack's Defender as well. He's got to run away from this one. Stun comes out into Poppers, but they've got even more time of power play. Stun's coming out. Roa forced to run away. Tristana is back up. Can Latman make them win a fight? Baby Deuce is here. He wants some more CC. They slow down Roa. Solo King going to zone them away, though, and looks like nothing else picked up. But inhibitor gone, meaning the map actually is better for TBD.
Popper's OP, the last 2 plays that he's made have been phenomenal. He ended up getting Latman off of the field with just a combination, then ends up getting a Baby Eater off the field with just a combination too. Like right there, fantastic scatter the weak after the orb. Yeah, so now the dragon will be up in about 45 seconds. And there was no setup for it. They are now going to have super minions pushing down the mid lane against Wazabi Gaming from TBD. But again, even in the gold department here.
The weird thing about Dragon's late in the game is it like almost doesn't require setup, because so much can happen in 40 seconds. If you spend 40 seconds in the Dragon Pit, you like lose control of a lane.
Oh, yeah.
Like even though it's worth like almost 2,000 gold, even though it's like a very worthwhile Dragon in terms of getting your team some money, there's just so much more to do that neither team gets the luxury of setting up Dragon for a while. You can ward as you run across, but that's it.
Setting up wards is the big thing that both teams need to do right now, because it's pretty dark for both sides in enemy territory. They almost see nothing in the... They pretty much say that they do see nothing in these areas. Now we see the Dragon has respawned. Kenny's going to back. He does have his Guardian Angel completed, and he buys himself another red pot for this fight at Dragon. They want to fight it because he has those extra boosts in combat stats.
Well, there we go.
Might
There's
not be
Dragon.
contested.
Again, soloed by Latman. They're just, it's quick to take, realistically. And again, yeah, champion like Tristana, right? Not hard to go for it. Pretty safe overall. And so that's some gold going Wazabi's way. 2,000 gold lead for these guys. Definitely not a ton, but it's enough to make them feel happy.
Tristana's definitely
still very far. Oh, I mean, yeah, but she's
oh, yeah.
she will cap out before too long. That said, 6-item Trist, of course, better than 6-item Caitlyn. But as items start to cap out, that can be exactly. I think you would eventually switch out your boots, because if you can afford to buy Home Guard at will, then you would just like chill on like a Phantom Dancer, or you'd chill on a like even just like Alacrity or something, right? Just because it'll have more in-combat stats. TBD, they're looking to make their way towards the bottom lane. Aurelia's got to be careful. Kenny does see Roa. He's got Guardian Angel. He's going to be able to buy some time. I think he'll be okay. Zonia's, by the way, for Baby Eater, so he's no longer one-shot away poppers unless a stun combo comes through. Kenny wants his way in on towards Roa. Gets stunned up.
So much damage.
Wow, so much damage. Tidal Wave going to hit onto 3. Latman loses the Banshee, though. Solar King goes in. Knockup comes in towards Baby Zeus. And Kenny forced to revive now. Stun comes in again towards the backline. Zonia's popped. Latman wants to go back in on this one, and down goes Aurelia. They're going to trade back onto Poppers. Now Hacks to the front line, losing a lot of health. Bullet Safety getting a bunch of damage out. Latman forced away. 2 members dead on one side, only 1 on the other. TBD win that fight. Solar King recalls, heals up, and has teleport.
Can get right back into this fight, and Latman, he got stunned up by a bubble there, which is exactly what they needed, and they're still causing pressure now.
Oh my gosh, this is the push now. Of course, mid inhibitor is dead. Pressure will be
TPing to mid.
40 seconds. Yeah, this is going to be Jax requiring attention. Bullet Safety's got to be careful. He is outranged by Latman, and there's so much shielding available. There's a way for Latman to arbitrarily win that fight out of nowhere. Bottom turret now being attacked. It's going to be Roa taken. Okay, smart choice there. This will be the turret falling as mid is being held. 20 seconds on respawns. Root does land on the support. Execution does stay alive.
They're going to be able to back it off and live another day here for both sides. Wazabi Gaming actually has a gold lead now, but not in terms of base and the structures being intact. Definitely at a huge disadvantage there. Baron just respawned, and the inhibitor on the bottom side, furthest away. It's the best one to have.
Okay, well, everything is now back and alive. Minions are at parity. In fact, the number of turrets per side is equal. The map is about as close to identical as you could get. The ward's actually all on the southern jungle, so no one sees Baron. This Baron, for either team, has to be hardcore earned right now.
They have to check it as a group, too. Kenny, no Guardian Angel for himself.
Roa goes in.
3-man
slow. He wants this to happen. Their Kate ulti comes in. Baby Eater so close to dead. Pops the ulti, flashes away. Roa forced away. He does stay alive. Kenny, you though, gonna get bursted.
Jax is on the back of them now.
Poppers in the wrong spot, and Latman takes him down. Forced to run. Still looking. Wreaking havoc in the back lines. Jumps over to his support, but he's losing all of his health, and down he goes as well. Baby Eater does stay alive along with Latman, and now Execution also gets picked up. 3 for 0. Uh-oh. Bullet Safety fires one back. Can he buy enough time for his team on the way out of this one? Killing off minions. Now Baron being started. He can push towards the top lane, though.
Roa doesn't have flash.
He shouldn't even try to steal this, though, I don't think. Latman actually going across to see if he can find him anyway.
Trying to look for it. Ends up getting the Baron once again for Wazabi Gaming. Big part of that fight is they just trailed off.
Here's the thing. 35-second respawns, 4 versus 2. 80 carry jungle versus 80 carry jungle plus mid plus top. Wazabi can dive turrets with a like 250 armor Aurelia. No slow onto Roa, but here comes inhibitor number 1. They've got a minion wave as well. Bullet Safety will get as much damage down as
going
they
for
can.
Turrets.
But this is going to be really hard. There's the flash, the stun, and the Bullet Safety. Can they pick him up? The knockup from Lulu. Yes, they do. Now Roa being attacked, slowed down. Case. That is the ace. 8 seconds on the respawn. Turret number 1 going through turret number 2 as well. This could very well be the game. Here comes Syndra, and here comes Nami. But the Nexus is losing too much health. And in 47 minutes, Wazabi Gaming, they find the comeback win.
They are still down in kills right now, up about 6K gold. Yeah. But man, that early game was really rough for them. They didn't get completely punished by it though, and they were able to